just finished a house, and he told me to take the paint cans, which had wet paint and stuff dripping down the sides and all that stuff, and to take the buckets and the brushes and everything that still had a bunch of wet paint on it, and he told me to put it in the back of my truck. And I said, I'm not going to ruin my truck. You know, I've got nice carpet in the back of my truck. It's a nice truck, you know, it's well maintained, taken care of. I paid for this shit with my money. He didn't pay for it. So it wasn't even the guy who hired me, it wasn't even the owner. It was one of his guys who is like hasn't been there as long as me, and he ended up telling me, go home. I said, you know, it was fucked up. I'm not putting all this paint and getting all that paint in the back of my truck. I'm not going to ruin my truck. And he said, well, when you decided to be a painter, that's part of the deal, is you get paint inside of your vehicle. That's just the way it goes. If you can't deal with getting paint inside your truck and just a little bit of paint on the carpet, then you can go home and don't come back. I said, okay, fine. If that's the way you want it, fine. But when I took this job, there was no description saying would need a work truck, that I would need to be willing to have paint spilled in my truck. Sorry, but you're a fool. You got an owner who's less than 5 minutes away, who has a work truck, and it's meant to get paint and all that stuff inside of it, in the back of the bed and that. There's all kinds of paint spills, it's got truck liner, all that. I got nice carpet in the back of my truck. There's no way I'm gonna ruin my truck and get it all spilled with paint and stuff to go to a job. And these are tools that I don't need to do my job. I grabbed my tools. I have a plastic bag that holds just my tools. And I had all my tools. I even bought my own tools for this company. They didn't want to supply me paintbrushes or any of the cleaners and stuff like that. So I ended up spending like, you know, $100 on my own tools. And then 3 days later, because I won't be willing to pour paint, wet paint in the back of my truck, he decided to fire me. Their loss. I'm a good worker right now, and it wasn't even the owner. It was just fucked up. So I guess I gotta find another job. Is what it is. You tell me, if you took a job being a painter and you had a vehicle that has nice carpet and all that, say you had a nice vehicle on the inside and stuff, and just because you were painting houses, do you think it's required? Because he told me it's required. Well, you being a painter, it's required that you be allowed to at least get paint in your vehicle. Sorry, that wasn't in the job description when I got hired. So yeah, you tell me, would you be willing to pour paint in the back of your truck? Get paint all over everything? First off, it takes me 1 hour and 20 minutes to get here. So if I work a 12-hour day and I take a lunch, which he deducts an hour anyways, if I work 12 hours a day, I'm getting paid 9 hours. So I'm pulling 12-hour days, getting paid for 9 hours of it. And then I got fired because I'm not willing to let paint get all on the inside of the back of my truck. Not to mention, he's only paying $14 an hour. McDonald's pays $15. Most painters make about $20, $22 an hour. So I'm not sure, man. Shit's fucked up. And I'm pissed off. What do you think? Would you be willing to pour paint all over your truck, in the back of your truck, just so you can have a job? Hey, what's up? So because I'm not willing to let paint get all in the carpet of the back of my truck, I'm not allowed to be a painter. Well, I don't really think that that's grounds for firing. I'm going to look into this. I might be pushing some things paper-wise on top of Dustin here because he let his man do that to me. Yeah, it's kind of what I'm thinking, Fox. Like, I don't think that's a legal requirement as a painter, is to pour paint in the back of your truck and then to be fired for it. I think I just might be claiming unemployment on this company or something. Not only that, last week I pulled 56 hours. He didn't pay no overtime for it. It doesn't have anything written as overtime, so he's having people work more than 40 hours a week and not paying them time and a half at all, and that's a legal requirement. Yeah, I'll tell it over. Okay, so we went to work. Everything was fine. Helped wrap up, finished the closet, painted it out, put all the shelves back in, all that, clean everything up and all that. He said, rinse out the paintbrushes and the buckets and rollers and trays and all that. And I said, okay. And so I did that, and then he said, load them all up in your truck and take them to the other house we're going to. And I said, no. I said, I'm not going to ruin the back of my truck with all that wet paint and dripping, you know, water paint and all that. I'm not going to ruin the back of my truck. I'll take my tools that I have room for in my truck for me to do my job. And so that's what I did, was I cleaned off all my tools. I cleaned up all their tools and stuff, but I said I'm not going to put it in the back of my truck and ruin the back of my truck. I'm not going to get paint all over my carpet and shit. I don't have no way to, you know, I'm not just going to throw all that in the back of my truck. And so I loaded up my stuff and started to head towards the house. And I got a phone call, and he said, what all did you grab? I said, I grabbed my tools and everything I need to do my job. He said, didn't you load up all the paint buckets and brushes and rollers and pans and stuff? I said, no, I'm not ruining my truck for anyone just because, you know, you need stuff over there that I don't need. I'm not going to ruin my truck for you or anyone. I paid for this truck. This is my truck, you know. I keep it nice on the inside. I keep it clean. I vacuum the carpets and all that shit. And he said, well, that's part of the deal. If you can't handle paint getting in your truck, that's what you signed up for when you took this job. I'm thinking to myself, no, I didn't. That wasn't in the job description. So he fired me because I wasn't willing to get paint spilled all in the back of my truck. Told me to go home. I said, okay. So, yeah, I'm going to be contacting somebody. I don't think any company has a legal right to fire you because you're not willing to ruin your vehicle. That don't make no sense to me. I can't see what all is going on. Who's making fun of you? Little angel. But anyways, what do y'all think? Just because you want to paint, just because you're painting houses for a company, do you think you should be required to pour paint in the back of your vehicle or get paint splatters and white paint and brown paint and all that? No, I shouldn't have to risking my vehicle. I shouldn't have to risk ruining my vehicle. And Tuggle and Dustin has a link to my YouTube page. So Dustin, if you watch this, what your guy Frankie did was wrong. I don't know who called me, if it was Dave or somebody, but it might have been you. I'm not sure who I was even talking to. But I'm sorry, Dustin. I'm not, you know, I'm willing to go out my way and do all kinds of stuff, but I'm not gonna ruin my vehicle for you. I'm not gonna pour paint in the back of my truck. I already bought my own tools. I already took a whole day's wait. And now because I'm not willing to carry your tools around too, fire me. That's wrong, Dustin. I'm going to let you know right now, what's good for your company, Dustin, is not Frankie. Frankie he's not a leader. He's not a leader at all. He's a dictator. He doesn't do anything, really. I haven't seen him work hard at all. All I see him ever do is fuck around on his phone. And a lot of people who work for you, Dustin, will agree with that. Frankie's a dictator. He's not a leader. A leader goes through and he goes with his crew. He trains his crew. He does his crew. He's right there side by side with his crew, with his team. That's a team leader. He's with you to death. He dies first and leads you to victory. That's a leader. That's leadership. What Frankie is a dictator, Dustin. He's a dictator. He doesn't do nothing. He just tells everybody to do everything. And he doesn't know how to do the shit himself, but he tries to pretend he does. And he'll tell you shit. He'll have no idea what's going on with the job and then start bossing you around, have you doing things that make no sense whatsoever. So, Dustin, your best bet long term, whether I work for you or not, is you don't need a person like Frankie on your team. He's already brought a few people down. They're just kind of rolling with it. But I'll be totally honest with you. Nobody likes Frankie because Frankie doesn't do shit. Oh, I don't know, David. I'm pretty far from Tampa area. A couple hours or more, easily. Maybe 3 hours from Tampa or something like that, I think. But yeah. So I gotta find a new job because I'm not willing to pour paint in the back of my truck. That's crazy. Well, they say everything happens for a reason, so I guess there's some reason behind this. I'll go home, get ready, and start filling out more applications. Start trying this shit again. Because I definitely need the income. But I definitely don't need to run my truck either. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna call this short and ride the rest of the way home. And Dustin, Tuggle Homeworks, if that's a requirement for you that I get paint all in the carpet of my truck, I'm sorry, I can't do that for you. More than happy to have my own tools and have an area, but I didn't, you know, you didn't have no plastic or anything for that back there. So, wish you the best. Good luck.